to the next hour here of New Day Cleveland. We appreciate you joining us. We're talking about having fun at holiday parties without throwing your healthy habits just out the window. Cleveland Clinic dietitian Julia Zampano is joining us. She's got some tips for keeping it low carb, and I love this because you don't take the fun out of it. And because the holidays, you want to enjoy yourself. You want to have good food. But you do this in a way that makes us feel like, okay, we're still getting hearty meals that are going to make us smile at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I think nothing's off limits. That's the most important thing.
I
can
love
include
that.
anything. Anything can be included. So
how would you start this when you're thinking about really making that transition, making sure you're doing the right things? Planning is probably part of that process.
Planning is huge. Planning ahead starts from before you even go to the party. So you want to plan ahead, having a small snack, something like a boiled egg, a handful of nuts, something to curb that appetite, curb your hunger, so you're not walking in starving.
That makes perfect sense, because that's what I end up doing. I go somewhere, I'm like, I'm ravenous and I'm ready.
Yeah, most people are fasting all day, just ready and preparing for that meal. And that's actually the opposite thing of
what you should be doing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, what would be our next, this looks like a great shareable little dish.
Exactly.
Not little, that's big.
Big, so because this is shareable, right? So you want to bring a dish to share that you know you can have, that you know you can consume a lot of, right? So if you're looking at the table like, wow, there's really not much here I should be eating, at least you know you brought something you can snack on. And I think a veggie tray is great because you can prepare it in seconds, you can buy it pre-prepared, and you can just snack on it throughout the whole evening or daytime, or during the party.
Gotcha.
And the other main thing I also recommend is swapping out the dip for a hummus.
Great point.
Yeah, because the hummus, at least you're getting healthy fats, protein, beans, obviously so many benefits, versus a dip that is designed for you to overeat.
Like the French onion dip.
Exactly. You're just digging in there with a celery stick.
Very tasty, but yes.
Yes. Can exceed calories there.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
right?
unfortunately.
Okay, the plates, when we prepare our plates, now, I overload my plate, probably. I'm sure there's some strategy behind really doing it the right way.
Definitely strategy. So ideally you want a balanced plate. So 50% of your plate is mixed in between vegetables and carb. The other 50%, ideally, you're looking at like protein. So, kind of a third is another way you can handle it. A third of protein, a third carb, a third non-starchy vegetable, whatever non-starchy vegetable is available. So for this instance, Brussels sprouts are excellent. So you really want to try to fill your plate. A carbohydrate that's a little bit on the lower carb end, so I chose butternut squash.
Okay.
Versus something like mashed potatoes that might be a little heavier. That doesn't mean you can't have mashed potatoes there. You just want to visually look at what portion is appropriate for that. So if your vegetables can dominate the plate, that's ideal, right? Your vegetables and protein can dominate.
Okay, so what about when it comes to carbs in general? I know some can be a little bit hidden,
right?
And you don't realize it necessarily. Should we be looking out for something like that then too?
Yeah, you want to look for it overall, like kind of I always say scan the table before you make your choices.
Okay.
And look at, okay, what carb do I really want? If you're looking to minimize carbs, look, okay, there's mashed potatoes, there's rolls, there's sweet potatoes, there's stuffing, what do I really want? Let me pick 2 out of those 4.
Okay.
So I'm not loading up on, a plate full of carbs.
Now, there's gravy over here. Is this because we want to keep it on the side and we shouldn't be putting gravy on, or why do we have the gravy?
We're looking at hidden sources of calories and hidden sources of carbs. So when you look at gravy, depending on how it's made, it could have extra fat, calories, additives, where if you're looking to save calories, that could be something you could leave off to give yourself extra room for maybe dessert or a cocktail or whatever you choose. It's all about balance and a give and take and your preferences. What do you really want to get out of this meal?
Gotcha.
Where do you want your calories? It's kind of like a budget. I always tell my patients, think of eating like a budget. Where do you really want to spend your money on?
Makes sense. And drinks do matter. I know we have to get going, but drinks do matter.
Drinks matter a lot. This is eggnog and a cranberry punch, but these are the lower calorie versions of them. There's a lot of great low calorie options for, traditional seasonal things that you may want that you include. And you can shave a lot of extra calories by paying attention to that.
Look at the back of the bottle and just check it out. Do a little bit more digging before you pour. Thank you so much, Julia,
Thank
for
you.
coming in. If you need her help as a dietitian from the Cleveland Clinic, give her a call and she will work through it with you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Happy holidays
Happy
to you. Merry early
holidays.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
David, over to you.